to another Firearm Freedom YouTube live stream. This is hopefully going to work all right. YouTube actually has a different way of doing these live streams now on the back end, which is interesting. As we get started here, as always, how these live streams go, let me know in the live chat if audio's good, video's good, all that good stuff, and we will get rolling. This is probably going to be maybe a shorter one, maybe not. If you guys have not seen a live on this channel before, it can always go one way or another. So, you know, we will see. It's been a minute since the last live stream here on Firearm Freedom. I have been trying to dedicate almost all of my spare time to the actual edited videos that you guys are hopefully still enjoying. And as we said in previous live streams, you know, sometimes there's just not all that much to talk about live, and it's been a little bit slow in the gun industry recently, as far as just massively new news. It's one of those things where it's still the same old crappy news. Not that much has been changing, and there's not that much that I feel like we need to be talking about live. But tonight, we got a little bit of a special announcement. We got a few folks watching now. I made a post about this probably about, man, was it 3 months ago? Almost 3 months ago, and that is my wife is pregnant, carrying our first child, and my son is going to be due now in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So it has been an interesting little bit. There's been a lot of stress, a lot of excitement, and fear all kind of wrapped up in one. And I think, you know, on the kind of preparedness SHTF side of my mind, I kind of was thinking, you know, hey, wait till things are a little less stressful in the world, you know, till it doesn't feel like the whole world is going to end in some sort of World War III situation, and then have kids. And I started to realize, you know what, when times are frustrating and kind of not looking great in the headlines and in the future, that's the most important time to have kids, and the most important time to raise them right and get that rolling, because I think I truly do believe that aids kind of our answer to the future and to a better society that we need to be kind of moving towards with the mess that we are in currently. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because my plan right now is for about a month time here on YouTube. It won't seem like a break on your end. I have videos scheduled out actually right now for about a month in the future, 2 videos per week. So you guys aren't going to be seeing really much of a change as far as the videos. But as far as my end, my plan is to take about a month there where I am off on the back end. And that means, you know, just kind of a break for a month of answering comments or daily posts or whatever, these live streams here. So if you guys are wondering, hey, what's going on? He hasn't answered my comment in a long time. That is because I have my first child, and I'm going through the first few weeks there of just holding on tight and getting ready to go as far as just understanding how all that goes. So I appreciate in advance your support and understanding moving forward with that. So I am incredibly excited to get that stage of my life rolling and raise my son to be a man in this society. It's definitely important. Now, with that out of the way, some different ways that you can support my channel as far as Firearm Freedom goes. The links are already down there in the description, so you can check those out. It'll bring you to a merchandise store. You can pick up awesome t-shirts like this hello and welcome t-shirt that is awesome, and it's not immediately jump out in your face tactical either, which is cool. So that link is down there. Me and my wife, who is very pregnant right now, also have a conspiracy theory podcast that many of you guys might not know about. That link should be down there as well, but if you go on any of your streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, just type in Freedom Foil, it'll pop right up. We got a lot of awesome episodes over there that if you're conspiracy tinfoil hat minded, you're gonna love. But the primary reason, aside from those updates that I wanted to do this live stream, we are getting to the butt end of the Amnesty-ish period of pistol braces, and I'm kind of seeing a revved up amount there of folks coming in to the gun shop that I work at over the past few days, just trying to rush in and do their tax-exempt Form 1. And we talked about this heavily in my live streams in the recent past, and that's why I think I kind of owe it to you guys to see a behind the scenes at a gun shop that really does a significant amount of NFA dealings to tell you what I'm seeing on my end and kind of how I've seen this entire thing transpire. So the 120-day grace period is supposed to end, I believe, on May 1st or April 31st, one of those 2 days. And I have seen now a significant amount of people file the tax-exempt Form 1, and there's still a lot unknown, there's still a lot undetermined, but I have also seen most of those individuals get approved. Those approvals are in about 30 to 60 days, roughly. They are still not requiring photos after those approvals went through. So I have seen employees at the gun shop that I work at that did a test as a guinea pig, basically, to see exactly what that would look like. What can we expect on the opposite end of that with an approval, a denial? Are they going to request photos, etc.? And they did not request photos. They did not request any purchase information or anything like that. They just simply requested all the information that was in the standard Form 1. Once that got approved, that was it. They received a Form 1 electronic copy, just like you would a paid Form 1. So that's what we're seeing. Again, not trying to not dive into my thoughts on that, my thoughts on the ATF, my thoughts on the NFA, and my thoughts on SBRs and pistols and braces as a whole, just because I want to give you just the what to expect information. And it also seems like the ATF field agents in offices out there still have absolutely no idea what is going on, what the new rules are, how to direct people. I say this because I'm hearing reports from folks out there that they have, again, not saying this is right or wrong, but they have called the ATF branch saying, hey, I don't know what to do. What can you help me understand what you're trying to do? And the field agents have told them, hey, if you get an approval, that only means you can use it with a brace and not a stock, and it's not an SBR, and you have to keep the brace on it after you get approved. That's what field agents are saying, even though on their own website in the Q&A section it says once you get approved, treat it as an SBR and you can put a stock on it. So there's still a massive disconnect between the ATF field agents and also the ATF heads that are deciding all of this nonsense. Now, I've also seen a difference on the tax-exempt Form 1. If you have ever gotten a Form 1 electronic copy or a Form 4 electronic copy, the electronic copies all have your standard tax stamp up in the right-hand corner of the paperwork, right? These tax-exempt Form 1s do not have anything there. It's blank. So I don't know if that's any significance. I don't know if that's just because you didn't pay the $200 to certify a stamp on there. But there is no stamp on there, so that is something that I've noticed. If you get a tax-exempt Form 1 approved, then don't be alarmed if there's not a stamp there. That is why. I've also seen a significant amount of people come in that still have a lack of understanding on what this actually is. And something that I can be, I can understand where a lot of these folks are coming from, but I also have a frustration on where these folks are coming from, and I'll explain what that is. So the entire process of this has been a mess, right, from start to finish. We did screaming live streams about this months ago. We have been talking about it for months. If you want to know my thoughts on all of that, go check out those live streams. That's where all that stuff is, and you can check it out. But when it comes to what's going on, the immediate changes that have been made in the past month or weeks, because the ATF has consistently kind of swapped around what all of this stuff is, and they're not letting anybody know, people have gravitated towards calling gun shops, asking the gun store employees what to do, why they should do it, and treating them like they are a legal advisor or an attorney, or that they should know what an attorney should know. And I got news for you guys. I understand that it is frustrating right now, that it is scary right now, that it's hard to find information about this, but the local gun store that you're going to, whether they're knowledgeable folks or not knowledgeable, they are learning this information the exact same way you are. They are getting this information from the internet, and they are a normal retail employee or person like you guys, and most guys in gun shops and girls in gun shops are affected by this as well, and have pistols and are trying to figure this out. So it's been quite a stressful few weeks, thanks to the ATF, in not letting, first of all, in letting them exist to begin with, but then also having this happen and then not give anybody information. So bear with the information that's out there, and don't expect an answer from a gun shop, because they have been changing it so frequently that most shops are now no longer even commenting on the whole thing, no longer assisting in Form 1 services, no longer helping in any way, and that's quite frankly not at the fault of the gun shop. You have to understand that the ATF is changing their minds and changing their decisions every single day, and quite frankly, since the beginning of this, I've seen gun shops try to inform people and ultimately fail short, or that information has been proven false in a week or 2 weeks, because we're getting this information from the same place you guys are, which is the internet, trying to figure things out. So I also see a side of that, a huge misunderstanding with folks out there on what this actually is. So to alleviate on some of that stuff, this is not a law. This is not a law. That's like the first and foremost thing. Somebody will come in, they say, hey, have you heard anything about that new law they're passing, that new pistol brace law? Have they overturned that crap law that the ATF is doing? Has the Senate done something? Has Congress done something? People still are not grasping the fact that this is not a law. It is never going to be a law. It is a rule change, and that is a very frustrating way to do basically what they're not supposed to do, which is make law, and there's not a damn thing that can be done about that as far as something being overturned. So it's not a getting it overturned sort of thing. It's a lawsuit ending thing. But if we look at bump stocks, we could be looking at possibly up to 4 years, maybe even 5 years, before you start seeing any sort of a light up or down on that topic. And this, at least at this very moment, is very much our reality that is happening. And there's not really anything, there's no, saving grace with the political system that is right now that is going to solve this problem. The solving this problem is not in politics at the end of the day. So watch what a lot of the folks out there are telling you, because there's a lot of misinformation here, and that is exactly why again, we're in this situation, because people just are not seeming to grasp the amount of tyranny that's actually going on here. First it was bump stocks, then FRTs, then the brace pistols. What is wonderful ex post facto BS is next. My money is on assault style pistols, i.e. semi-auto pistols that can take more than 10 rounds. Ultimately, we have no idea what is next, and you're absolutely right. It could be literally anything. That's the issue with the ATF being able to essentially make law without making law, right? Well, as we've talked about in many other live streams, we continue to try to play by the rules against an opponent that created those rules and is not playing by the same rules, because how a law should work and how something that should work that makes possibly 10 to 40 million people felons after a 120-day period if they don't understand what to do is it should go through checks and balances and be voted in by the people and by representatives of the people that the people chose to be in there. That's kind of how our country is designed, right? But instead, we have this three-letter agency that just decided out of thin air that they can simply change law without actually changing law, which again has now put us in a position where there is no legislative immediate recourse to stop that from happening. It happened, and now we are about to experience the end of this come a few days here. So it's quite a situation. As far as NFA wait times that I've been seeing on a whole, if you are curious, regular Form 1s do not seem to be affected by the tax-exempt Form 1s. I've actually been seeing regular paid $200 Form 1s, the standard electronic service, go through usually between 15 and 30 days still throughout this entire process. So it does appear that the tax-exempt Form 1s are completely separate outside of the standard Form 1 as far as where those checks are going to and where the process is going to get fulfilled. So when it comes to looking at Form 4s, electronic Form 4s, I still would not even come close to recommending. They are a train wreck. Stay away from electronic Form 4s with everything you have. If you're thinking about doing anything when it comes to buying a suppressor, buying a factory SBR, a factory SBS, or whatever else, electronic Form 4s, you got about a 50-50, especially if the shop is not competent. If the shop isn't competent, you might as well lower that to, I don't even know what, maybe 80-20, that's going to come back disapproved over approved, and there's no corrections still, so you're going to be waiting right now about 10 months, probably a little longer, to be told that your only option is to resubmit. The amount of horrendous phone calls that I have had to make at usually the fault of the ATF to let somebody know that after waiting 10 months for something they should have been able to walk out the door with that day, that their only option is to file the paperwork again and redo the whole process. Trust me, avoid those. Now, when it comes to paper Form 4s, we're in a really weird time right now. So our original assumption, after a year of everybody doing everybody doing e-form 4s, right, for a year, we assumed that paper form 4s were going to take a huge drop in time because no one was doing them. Really, no one was doing them for a long time. So I submitted for suppressors and other things for review that I was already getting or whatever, a few paper form 4s myself as guinea pig to try to see exactly what the paper form 4s are going to be looking like for information for you guys. Now, I'm at about month 5 on a few of those right now on paper forms. It's really interesting because usually at the gun shop that I work at, we will get in usually 2 to 3 paper form 4s at least a week, at the very least. But normally it's 1 to 2 per day of paper form 4s. We have not received a paper form 4 in 2 months, a single one. So you would assume that when the ATF hit that lull, they would just simply grab the next paper form and file that, and we'd be looking at a 2-month turnaround time on the paper form 4. But what appears to be happening is they decided, hey, we haven't got paper form 4s in the past, X amount of months. Let's go ahead and put that on the back burner for a month or two. Now, I don't have any actual information for that. It's just very odd to me that we have not gotten any paper form 4s whatsoever, and we still do have quite a few individuals that again submitted 5-6 months ago now and still haven't heard back. So paper form 4s, you still could be looking at 7 to 8 months. We might be seeing maybe in a few months from now 3 to 4 month turnaround times on paper form 4s. That's still kind of what I am thinking is going to happen, but we will see. Let me just catch up on everyone's comments here. Balaclava Bandit, what's going on, buddy? Thank you so much for tuning in. Gunwall is sick. I appreciate it. We got a few new pieces back there to the Gunwall, one of which is that awesome Woodland M81 L-back plate carrier from HRT. Whew. So excited to try that out. This weekend video should be coming out in a few weeks, but beyond happy with that so far. Hey, totally love the Gunwall, but just so you know, it's against YouTube's terms of service. My channel got banned for it. Daniel, I appreciate it. I don't know what is... I don't know. I don't know what is not against their terms of service at this point. My videos have not got flagged in the past for having it back there because nothing is being touched at all. There's no hands on the product. So I don't know. If they give it a strike, I'll have to adjust it. Trying to do my best. This is the place that I have to film, and there's not much I can do about that, so we'll see. But I appreciate the comment. Thank you for looking out. Nick, you're still waiting on a few of what it seems like is the tax-exempt Form 1s. Will I get them before the May 31st deadline? Probably not. But from my understanding, if it goes past the May 31st deadline, that's not a problem, provided it was submitted in the 120-day grace period. So if you submitted it during that grace period, you should be good to go. Probably, but we will see. My tax-exempt, John, good to hear from you. My tax-exempt Form 1 is over 60 days at this point. Not great, so we will see. Seeing Form 4 submitted 2 months after mine come back approved is so frustrating. Nick, I understand that for sure, but most of the time, almost every Form 1 or Form 4 that I've seen get approved quickly is due to a law enforcement expedite, which, if you ask me, is infuriating that exists. I'm going to be just flat out, that's my personal opinion. Something like that should not exist. If you're in law enforcement, you should get in the back of the line like the rest of us and just simply wait your time. And that is how it should be. If you want your first responders to get items to use on the job quicker, then you should not have the NFA. That's about where it should be. So the fact that you even have something that exists to just expedite it so that literally anybody that has any sort of credentials can just simply get a form approved in a matter of weeks or a month is ridiculous, to say the least. And that's not, look, I get it. I'm waiting a long time, just like all of you guys, and that does suck a little bit. It's not me trying to complain about that, but it's infuriating to see somebody cut in front of the whole line just because of their job choice. So, yeah, not a huge fan of that. We are definitely getting excited for the arrival of our first kid, for sure. It is a very exciting time. Stressful, but exciting time. Yeah, that's what I heard, man, was just handling it. So, I don't know. We'll see. There's really no way to know anymore with YouTube, quite frankly. So you never really know what is going to violate their terms of service. Right now, YouTube seems to, for whatever reason, maybe it's because of all the stuff that was going on a few months ago or even a few weeks ago, that they actually got, politicians involved with YouTube and Leviathan Group and all this other stuff that I don't know about. All of a sudden YouTube started to let up on the throttling a little bit. So I don't know. We will see. My views are starting to come back a little bit. My monetization's starting to come back a little bit, so that's great. But that literally could change any moment. It could change any minute that you are watching YouTube when they want to decide to just swap that around. I also wanted to do this live stream to thank you guys for the support on my most recent, or one of my more recent videos, the Remington 870, the retro hardwood setup. That video in like 6 days went to 40,000 views, which is more subscribers than I have. So I can't thank you guys enough for that support on that video. That's incredible. I have no idea why that video, out of all the others, decided to go insane over a few days. But I do have an update to that video very, very, very soon coming out. I'm actually bringing the shotgun back to the range this weekend in 2 days to get it back out there, get it on camera for you guys with a few tasteful upgrades, and go from there. So that should get close to wrapping this video up here. John, yes, the shop that I work at currently has 2 of the Colt Raider clones in stock, currently ready to go, and they are very tempting. Very tempting. It's frustrating to me, the M45A1s Colts that were floating around. I remember back when a very good friend of mine was looking at one years ago when they first started to drop out. I think he was looking at one of the military marked ones for like $2,000 or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, you're insane. And then it came down to now the military marked M45A1s are on Gunbroker for like $9,000. So wish I would have jumped on that train. But the Colt Raider pistol at home, that is the TSOS Raider that just dropped, is surprisingly good. It frustrates me because I'm like, man, I wish all these, it's like, it'd be really cool if it was a Colt and it was at a reasonable price point, but that's just not going to happen. And it kind of sucks that, that pistol is basically just a Turkish knockoff, right? But they did a good job, and their 1911s for the most part are incredibly reliable. So I don't know. I don't have any affiliations with TSOS, but I do like their 1911s. And if you're into the Colt M45A1 and you don't want to pay $3,000 and you want something that is like $500, the TSOS seems to be a really good option. So we will see. Time will tell on that gun. Tyler, what is going on, man? I will have to let you know on that TP9 because it is quite busy recently, quite busy, and I got quite a few videos scheduled out, but I promise I will get back to you at some point. John, they were definitely there. My favorite vid you have done so far is the Remington 1187 SBS. I've watched that one a dozen times. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, man. Seriously, means the world to me. And I know a lot of you guys love these Remington shotgun videos. That gets me excited. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves about being a consumer here on YouTube, because I absolutely am, I subscribe to a lot of gun channels out there. And one of the things that like just gets me every time is the stagnant guns that are always like out there. You know, whatever brand new gun is, your whole feed is that gun, or your whole feed is a basic AR that everyone's got, or the new hotness from Springfield or Smith & Wesson. And I just hate that, and that's not the type of person that I am. I don't really get excited about my new 365 macro. So when it comes to the guns that I'm into, a lot of those guns are shotguns and oddball things and 80s guns, and I try to just kind of push that through on my channel as well. So that's why I do all these weird guns that I'm able to pick up, and I just love shotguns. There's something about a shotgun that just gets me going. You know what I mean? It's when you get into shotguns and you start actually like running them at the range and trying to learn reloads and trying to do it under stress, running shotguns on a barricade, it's just so difficult, but in the best way. When you look at people that all they ever shoot is AR-15s, right, and that's it, and maybe a Glock, and it's usually a high-speed Glock or whatever else, you have somebody who, yeah, they look great, they look super quick on the gun because ARs are easy to be quick with, let's be honest. It just, yes, it takes some skill, but the guns are incredibly ergonomic. That's why AR-15s are awesome. You can pick them up. They have little to no recoil, right? And when it comes to reloads, when it comes to running the gun at the range, it's pretty easy, okay, to look quick with those guns. I'm just going to be real with you. But when you start branching out, okay, into the AK world, right, it's a lot more raw, a lot more gross movements going on to be good with an AK, and it's challenging and it's fun. And I find a lot of the time that the better you are with something like an AK, the faster and more effective you are with an AR as well, because it is easier to understand how to use. Now, take that to what I consider the highest difficulty level, which is a shotgun, even more so a pump shotgun, right? It's just fun at the range. And I do still see absolutely a use with shotguns in close proximity, right? Without a doubt. A shotgun is devastating at close range, but it's also the most difficult to learn and understand how to use under stress. But I find them fascinating, and I just can't pass up a good security style shotgun with wood furniture. If it comes into the shop, I'm probably going to buy it, and that's just how it rolls. Boring Gun Guy, what is up, man? Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. So, guys, that is... sorry, I keep playing with my hat. Whenever I wear these hats backwards, it always, like, slowly starts dipping back, and it's never that comfortable. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has not been that like super fiery, screaming live stream that sometimes they are on my channel, and you know, sometimes they're just not like that. The primary reason for this live stream was to give you information. A lot of people are confused, nervous, scared right now with the pistol brace debacle, so hopefully this helped out a little bit. And I also wanted to give you again an update on kind of where the channel's going. There's going to be no long-term hiatus or anything like that. It's just if you see that my responses are lacking, or just the regular photo posts are lacking or something, it's because I'm taking care of my newborn child here in a week or two. So just bear with me there. The channel's not stopping. We're going full speed ahead, but it's going to be a little bit interesting on the back end for me, for what you guys don't see. So thank you so much in advance for any comments you put underneath this live stream. That stuff really does help out here on YouTube, and it generates the algorithms. YouTube loves it. They start pushing the video when you guys are commenting below. So, you know, I can't appreciate it enough, or I can't thank you enough. So with that being said, that's going to end this live stream. As always, check out the description for ways to support the channel. And as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.